Yo guys, awesome chess blunderer here, and it's been a while since I've recorded a video because I'm getting a new computer, and here it is my new computer. Today I'm back with another game. This game is played in the Dortmund chess tournament, and this game is played between Leinier Dominguez and Nepomniachtchi, a Russian player. Leinier Dominguez is white and Nepomniachtchi is black, and so Leinier starts off with e4, c6, karjakin, d4, d5, e5, advanced variation of karjakin, and now c5, the Botnievik Carlsen variation. And here that's the main move played here is d takes c5, so it's played here, and now e6, just winning back the pawn. So now bishop d3 is played, bishop takes on c5, and now queen to g4. This is interesting now. This move not only goes for the g7 pawn, but it also aims to play b4 to kick this bishop out. A pretty aggressive move, I know. And yeah, this move is interesting because in a normal chess principle about there's a chess principle saying that you should not develop your queen early, and yeah, this is just interesting. So let's see how black defense replied. So the main move here is there's a game played in 2016 between the 2400 and 2200 player, and g6 is the main move here, followed by a3, just perhaps playing to kick the bishop out or preventing bishop b4 check. And now after knight c6, going after this pawn, you play knight f3 defending, queen c7, bishop f4, and now bishop d7 is played there, and the game goes on. So but black played none of this, and black instead played knight e7, which is interesting. And yeah, so here white played b4, but what happens if you take on g7? If he takes on g7, there's rook g8, queen takes h7 is forced, queen b6 goes for putting pressure on the f2 pawn, so you gotta play knight h3 to defend f2. And after knight bc6 going for this pawn, queen h5 comes back to defend this, and bishop d7. After bishop d7, the engine seems to even though the engine seems to prefer black, black has a lot of speedy development here. And yeah, it's pretty unclear who's better. So white doesn't really want to go for this variation because his pieces are not that developed. So he played b4, kicking the bishop away, and now h5, just counter-attacking. Queen to f4, just moving away, and now bishop to b6, the only escape square. Now knight to f3 developing, knight b to c6, knight b to d2, and a5. Now b5, knight to b4, just going for this bishop, and then followed by bishop to d7, just trying to win this pawn here. And yeah, white plays bishop a3, and knight takes on d3, c takes on d3, and now bishop to d7, going for this pawn. Queen to a4, defending this pawn and also preventing perhaps a4 advance. Knight to f5, just and now rook to c1, just controlling the c file. And here white plays g5, just preparing to go for g4 here, so you gotta play h3, and now rook to c8 is played. Now rook takes, queen takes, and now king to e2. White wouldn't want to castle here, because if he castles, queen to h3 will be played, this pawn's loose, and this pawn's loose too, so if you have the best move here would be queen b3, queen takes, knight takes, and bishop takes, and also after something like rook to d1 or something, just black has the threat of advancing these pawns, and this isn't just yeah, black is just better here. So plays king e2, and now queen to b8, just preventing white from playing rook to c1 with tempo. So knight to b3, queen to a7, just going for this f2 pawn, putting pressure. Now rook to c1, and g4 is played here. What happens if you go straight for the f2 pawn? Well, if you go straight for the f2 pawn, then rook to c8 check is just crushing, because the king can't move anywhere, and yeah, so the bishop's forced to take, and now b6 is played, and you're gonna win this queen after like something like bishop to d7, for example. You're gonna just win this queen, and you're gonna make a new queen. So yeah, whatever you play, you're just gonna win a queen. You're gonna be a queen up. So you don't want to do that. So you play so you play g4 here and just attacking this knight. So takes, and this is a mistake now, according to the engine. The engine seems to prefer white by a lot here. So let's see how so queen takes on g4, bishop takes on f2, and now knight to c5, just blocking the bishop, and you don't want to trade your bishop for the knight, because of after bishop takes on c5, if you play something like, for example, b6 here, you're gonna face rook to h1, and yeah, now this rook can't leave the 8 rank, because queen to g8 will be checkmate. So you gotta play rook to f8 and just sacrifice your rook, and still it's gonna be a mate entry, so you do not want to play this move. So instead black plays bishop to g3. Oops, sorry, skip that if you don't want to get spoiled. Bishop to g3, rook to h1 now, just using this with the same idea, because if now rook takes, then queen g8 full and king e7, knight takes b7 with discovered check. After queen c5 block, it's just checkmate. So you still can't take. So black here plays rook f8 and rook to h5, and white here plays rook to h5, and it was in this position that Nepomniachtchi resigned, and yeah, so Leinier's plan is to win this knight, take on the knight with the rook, and just get 2 pieces for the rook. So for example, if you black plays a move like bishop takes on b5, then the rook takes, pawn takes, queen takes on g3, and yeah, just and like white's just up material and also has a way better position. This queen's just passive, this rook is just passive, and yeah, everyone would prefer to be white here, I think. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's excellent chess blunder here, and see ya.